All right, all right. Welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast for the fans, by the fans. I'm your host, Eddie El Nino Baque, and right here I got my tag team partner, Ariel, the Ecuadorian Dream. Bisueta. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's going on, kid? How you doing, man?
Chilling, man, chilling. I just can't wait to jump into Monday Night Raw on Netflix. That whole thing. I feel like I have so much to talk about, bro.
I mean, there was
Like,
we had a very loaded 3 hours of
bro,
wrestling and interviews and just cameos and cameos and
oh,
cameos. So
bro.
yeah, we got a
So,
lot to cover,
all
man.
right.
So
So
yeah,
let me start off by asking you this, man.
okay.
Was it me or did you feel overwhelmed? Like I felt overwhelmed with everything going on in that 3 hours.
There was a lot being thrown at you from a lot of different angles. Like everything was just coming. Because there was always a shot of celebrity in the row. Travis Scott smoking a blunt. There's just so many different things happening, and we're just so used to being focused on storylines and
Mhm.
the in ring, and then so I think it was definitely a lot of kind of like almost ADD type stuff where we're just gonna throw a bunch of things at you and just
Oh,
oh hey, look over here, look over there. Like the fact that I mean just to I mean dive into it now, the fact that the world champion was given a minute and a half snippet video package. Like
yeah.
Gunther like got a video package on his show. He's the champion of this show. And he gets a minute and a half video package. There was 4 matches.
Yeah.
4, right? Yeah, 4
Yeah.
in a 3-hour Raw. Like there was a lot coming. So yeah, no, you are not wrong. And then it definitely felt like every
Well,
stuff's just
so
coming, just
okay,
coming, just
so
coming.
check this out. The first thing, right? Because
Right.
I'm pretty sure you did too. Logged into Netflix like probably like 10 to 20 minutes before it even started, right? I mean, I know I did.
Okay.
I just turned it
I
on and
did
I was
I
like,
did
okay,
like
cool.
I was like 6 minutes because I had to get the
Okay,
kid
so I
down, do the dishes, and knock some stuff around.
okay, so I was there. I was like 20 minutes in. I was waiting. I was like, okay.
Right.
And I like the loading screen, right? It was like, oh, you got like
That was
some
cool.
little video vignettes, you got the time, the countdown, and I was like, dang, this kind of
That was
feels
cool. Yeah.
like a video game like loading screen. It's like, like back in
Right.
the day when games used to like Grand Theft Auto used to like download, and while it's downloading and like loading into your system, it showed like that
Right.
loading screen.
They
Like that's
put
what
them
I
right, of
felt
course.
like this was, it was like, okay, this is cool, right? Okay,
I mean, kudos
now
to Netflix and their graphics department on that. Absolutely.
for real. So now then let's talk about the arena real quick. The Intuit Dome where the LA Clippers play. First of all,
Right.
that arena alone is overwhelming. Like the fact that every seat has those little lights attached to
I
the
was
like
tripping out about those lights. I had to sit there and watch it. Like I went back and I was like, wait, I had to like stop it and be like, wait, is every light red? Like, is this? Oh,
bro.
okay. This is all right. This is happening. It's great. Like,
So that
cool.
was
But once again, I think
overwhelming.
kind of an assault on the eyes when I'm trying to watch five
Yes.
other things.
Yes. Okay. So I wasn't the only one. So that was one of my overwhelming factors. It was like, okay, a lot of power in that arena. We get it. It's high tech, cool. It's like a small version of like the LA Chargers stadium, right? Like the SoFi, right? It's just so high tech. Okay, cool. And then I'm just like, okay, I like the
No,
the what's it called, the screens and like the raw emblems and stuff like that. That looked pretty cool. And then I saw the wrestling mat and I was like, oh, what is this? Right? Like it's too much like advertisement on that. It's not a pay-per-view. It's not. Is this how every Raw is gonna be with
when they
like,
when they dropped the curtain.
oh, bro, it was, I don't know. I again, I was overwhelmed with the ring.
Fortnite
I didn't.
huge in the middle of the thing,
Yeah. Okay,
like
so first of
huge in
all,
the
it
middle of the
it was a
thing,
black
like
mat.
prominently just bang
Oh,
Fortnite.
bro.
Let's start with the black.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Now, once
Mhm.
again, this is you and I coming from a fan perspective. We are by no means
Yeah.
wrestling experts or anything like that. So I want everybody to remember you are getting opinions. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's start. I saw that, and while I wasn't sure if there was going to be a change to the mat, especially with advertising and stuff like that,
Yeah.
the black. I mean, did NXT run with the black mat for a while, or
Mm,
something? I want to say I thought someone ran with a black mat for a while, and I
yeah.
just, I
Yeah.
maybe it's just because I am the old school wrestling guy and I like but yeah, the black mat was
No,
not.
but I agree.
Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe it'll grow on me.
So my thing was this, right? I thought it was just there as a cover, kind of like a hey, we're filming live, so look at the advertisements,
Then you like
and
peel
then
it
they would
back.
like, yeah, they would peel it back, and it's like your classic white. No, and it's just like, ew,
Right.
what is that? And then okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that was overwhelming. Then
Okay.
the show opens up, right? And it's that Triple H, wrestling is like a art canvas, like opener.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay. I
Okay.
okay. I was about to say I was like ooh. I have to make sure that as minute this becomes available again, I'm rewatching that video
Bro,
package.
I love that. That was not overwhelming. That was beautiful. It was like nostalgia on 1,000. And I was like, this is the
Great.
reason why I'm a fan.
Great.
I love it. Thank you, Triple H, for giving us what we want, because that is just it almost solidifies like all the years of watching on and off. It was like culminated to that moment. So thank you. That was like a thank you note to the fans. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that was designed to be like, hey, we've done this and now it's going to change, but we appreciate you being along for the ride.
There you go.
Great.
Yeah.
Necessary. Thank you.
Loved it. No, actually, well, we're talking because I did want to tell you, I wrote notes. Okay. So we went over the countdown.
I tried, but I was like, oh, this is gonna be like I'm have a thesaurus or dictionary or some kind of long thing at the end of this.
So check this out, right? I wrote as my note number 2, I was like, good to see that it started on time and there was no lag yet, right? But I say yet because I don't know.
The Paul Tyson fight.
Right. I was scared that was going to happen,
The
but
lag on that was,
bro, let me tell you, when it hit 80 like 801, 802, my Netflix stopped and I was like, oh, here we go with the lag. And come to find out, it was my internet. It wasn't even Netflix, bro. I had to watch it on my phone for the first 10 minutes. And I was like, oh no.
Before you realized it was the internet?
Yeah. But thankfully no lag. I didn't get any lag after I reconnected. You were good?
I had no lag at any point in the evening.
Okay. Okay, good.
They were ready. They were ready.
All right. So now, as the show, after the vignette, after Triple H's intro, love letter to the fans, they're talking about tribal combat. That'll be the first match, right? Did you pick up that Michael Cole kept bringing up the fact that The Rock is high chief of, all that stuff, and they were talking about that?
No, they kept bringing that up for a reason. They had to reference that, especially when you had what happened at the end of the match. That happened essentially when Rock took the Ulafala and placed it on Roman. You had to continually tell us and remind us that he has the ability to do this because he was bestowed the honor.
Okay.
But now, wait, what I'm saying is that was after Rocky came out. Didn't Rocky come out to start all of this?
Right. Okay. So that's
Rocky came out first, which is kind of what, because I was like, all right, because if you smell, I was like, okay, great, this makes sense. He's coming down now.
Right.
Before we get into the Reigns thing, just I'm going based solely on the show that was presented to us.
So
Rocky comes out. I'm expecting, not sure what to expect, because I'm thinking, are we getting The Rock, the People's Champion, or are we getting the final boss?
Right.
Okay. So Rock comes out, does his good guy Rock thing, and I'm like, okay, waiting for some point that's going to turn. And then this is kind of what kind of got me a little bit. One of the I don't want to say downsides, but not my favorite moments was, while I understand that wrestling has come a long way and this is a huge deal with Netflix, was a lot of patting each other on the backs, calling out executives and stuff and things like that. And I was like, okay, guys, okay, I understand it,
Right.
but like, can't we just put them in one suite, give them one quick shot, know where they are, because they're like, where are they? And then looking for like 3 minutes of trying to find these people up in the rafters. It's like Sting. I'm like, what is it? No, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? So yeah. So when Rock came out and started doing that, okay, sorry, that happened first, so that was freshest in my mind.
Right. No, but I agree. I agree, because it was like, he comes out, the final boss music hits. So I'm like, okay, so he's gonna come out in character, but then he comes out as Hollywood shirt. Right. He just comes out as Hollywood Rock. And I'm like, hey, this is a big deal for Netflix. And it's like, okay, so you're not final boss Rock, you're just Hollywood Rock. You're just like, hey, let's pat everybody in, like you said, in the back Rock. And it's like, okay, cool. But then you turn on final boss Rock again when you're just like, and I'll be watching this match really closely. And I'm like, okay, so you're back in character? You know what I mean? So you're right. That moment right there.
And this is after he said thank you to Cody Rhodes.
Right. Who
are you doing here?
Like, didn't he make him bleed all over his own bus like 5 months ago? Come on, man.
You're talking smack about the dude's Mama Rhodes, Mama Rhodes.
He's like, tell Mama Rhodes I say hi. It was just like, wow. Make up your mind, dude. Stay in character.
For the past year. That's what, like, this is just a lot of stuff happening, and he's not really. He's okay. We're getting. It's fine. We're getting People's Champion. We're getting that Rock. Great.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, well, all right. So whatever, Rock. We get it. You're a board member of TKO. You got to play all roles. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So yeah. So actually, it's funny. I did like that.
Shake babies. No, I'm kidding. Shake hands.
So that I wrote that. I was like, I'm a little confused with the Rock segment because it didn't really set up anything, And to be honest with you, at the end of Tribal Combat, I was kind of waiting for the turn, right? Like, weren't you waiting for the Rock to, like,
I was
punch Roman or something?
So much so that I had a friend of mine text me because he was watching it too, and he was like, "Oh, were you waiting for a turn?" I was like, "I was waiting for it, and it didn't happen." I thought you're setting stuff up. You have Mania coming up, because the other thing is, with two of the matches that were on the board yesterday, we're talking about possible Mania matches. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan is a Mania match. Could be a Mania match. They might have fronted that early just to put it on Raw on Netflix to get viewers. And Punk Rollins is a Mania quality match. Like, these are two matches that I think you kind of pushed early. So I think you could have set up some story with the turn here. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I know we're gonna get to Punk and Rollins later, but personally, I thought that was a great match. But we'll get to that later. But okay, and then after the Tribal Combat, actually during Tribal Combat, you get a glimpse of the new announce table, that a high tech announce table. Did you see it? Did you pay attention to it?
The new announcer, the what, the who? No,
bro.
I did.
The announcement table. The announcement table is like, I don't know, thicker, and it has like these neon lights that go around it.
And I'm just like, you know what? You're right. I did notice that. I did. You're right. And I was like, fancy.
Wow. Okay, Netflix, you're just throwing in all kinds of money, huh? Like,
I mean, that's not Netflix money. I mean, they toss it all over the place.
Speaking of Netflix money, okay, another overwhelming moment. The drones, not just the drone flying through the arena, but the drones that, outside. Like the logos, a Roman's logo, and like Rita's logo. I'm like, oh my god! It's like, how much are we spending here, guys, for a Monday Night Raw?
Can't be mad at that, dude. I can't.
I could be mad at it because it didn't feel like a Monday Night Raw. It just felt like a pay-per-view. I was getting like anxious. I was getting nervous for the accounting department. You know what I mean? So,
like, do we have to finish under budget this year?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna blow your entire load on the first Raw. Like, that's.
Well, so something tells me those drones are going to be a weekly Raw thing. Otherwise, then yes, concern needs to be expressed.
Yeah, and then actually, look, I got note number 10. Right, I know, because we pretty much hit a good amount of this was just me being a hater. I'm like, why does Alicia Taylor, the announcer, look like Cynthia from the Rugrats? Like, why she pick that hairdo, man? It's like straight up.
Yes,
I'm
this is
like,
purely this is you sipping on haterade.
and I'm like,
Like,
and I'm a
hard.
fan of hers from NXT. She's a really good announcer, but I was
Yeah,
like,
no, she's
"Ooh, girl, this is Netflix. Like, why would you go with that hairdo?"
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yes,
Yeah,
number 10
man.
is full of hate. That is hate, 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 hate.
Okay, check this out. Number 11. How do you feel about the new referee shirts?
I'm sorry, how do I feel about the
New referee shirts.
dig them?
Yeah,
Dig
you
'em.
do.
But I'm a guy who loves a good gray because you can do gray with anything.
Okay.
So I got no qualms with them. I mean, the old wrestlers say, man, yeah, you're the third person in the ring who's dressed. We know you're the
Yeah.
referee. We don't need to. Better than the bow ties, better than things. I like it. I think it gives them a little more. It looks like it gives them a little more freedom to move, less restrictiveness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Choker
had no
collar.
qualms with it.
You know.
But I did notice it. I was like, I don't mind the gray. I don't mind it. We're good. Me
Okay.
personally, once again.
No, that's fair.
What
For
about
me,
you? Were you a fan or?
I was okay. I was impartial. I was like, I could live with it.
Right.
Maybe it'll take some time for me to really love it later on. But right now, I was like, oh, okay. I just feel like with
Okay.
so many other changes, it's like, oh man, now we had to change the ref shirt. Like, okay, at this point, right? We're talking about new announce table, new mat on the ring, new entrance setup, new
Yep.
referee shirts. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, like
Once again,
talk about being
all the
overwhelmed,
assault
man.
of all the stuff being thrown at you. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and part of me, and because you know how the rumor mill always starts, and people start, putting their like fantasy ideas and bookings out there. But one of the things that I heard out there in the internet was, you know, part of the fans wanted like a retro look, right? Like instead of giving us all new high tech Raw, give us back some Attitude Era Raw where we get like some of the metal like entrance ways or so part of me, like the true fan of me, kind of wanted that, you know what I mean? And then just to see all this new, I'm just like, oh no, okay, well, I mean, it is, maybe it's just because it's the first Raw, right?
It's the first one. It's right now they're money talks, and all the stuff is trying to get the younger audience, trying to get all the news. They have us. They'll go. They don't have to play to us right now. Bringing the younger audience and stuff like that, with that lighting and all that stuff, I think makes a difference. So, but I agree with you. I would have liked to see definitely something a little more, which is why that opening video package was great, because it gave us those old school moments that I was hoping to see more of.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so now here's another one for you, right? Is it me, or is it because I usually rewatch Raw like the next day on Hulu or through the app, where I could fast forward through commercials? Did you feel like there were too many commercials last night?
I mean, for an episode of Raw, which was usually on network or cable TV, that it was industry standard, because the commercial, I don't think they were that long of breaks either. What I was surprised by was the commercials in the matches. I thought they would have done where they do that like split screen thing. Well, they'll still show the match in the corner, and then they'll give you the commercial over here. I figured because that was Netflix, they would be more prone to do that so that you don't lose a break in the action. That I actually was surprised about, but I don't feel like it was too long. I don't recall being like, oh, yeah, man, commercials. Like being that I've had to sit through Raw since 1993 when there was no DVR. There was no, like, you weren't getting up to change the channel unless you were walking to the TV and pushing down on the cable box to make that change. Like that wasn't happening. So I didn't know. So that's a joke. But overwhelmingly, no. I didn't see any problems with it. Maybe I'll rewatch and feel differently now that I'm looking to it. But I didn't see it personally. Well, I mean, did you feel like it was long?
I felt like
there were a lot of breaks, rather.
Well, so two things, right? I felt like I was expecting like maybe one or two commercials and then back to the action, because that's kind of like the perk of paying for a subscription or like for a service, because even like if you go look at it like a Peacock or Paramount, they'll give you one, or even Prime, they'll give you one or two commercials, and they're usually like 5 seconds long, and then that's it. but I felt like
No.
not only was it like 4 or 5 commercials, but they were the same commercials for the full 3 hours. Like it was the same ones on loop. And then on top of that, they were just each individually were long. And then to your point, I wish there was like a picture in picture because I felt like because they ran so long in certain cases, they would come back to the action. And it's like, oh, how did Roman get on the floor? How did Rhea get up to this point? So it's like,
Yeah.
you're right. Had they done picture in picture, I think that would have been a little bit,
Which I mean, I always thought was an issue because of the network that they were dealing with. They're being like, no, we have to give our advertisers the full screen the full time.
right.
But with Netflix, I figured it's Netflix. But I mean, once again, I have no idea how marketing works. I am not,
Yeah.
nor have I ever been inclined to know how marketing works or any advertising or anything along those lines. So, I'm completely talking out of, but whatever. But yeah, no, I wish they would have done it because I've seen it and I always think it's fun because it's like, great. This way, the people at home don't miss, anything. But I think it's also maybe that's a part of it too, is they want people to feel like when you pay to go to these events, you get those extra moments and things along those lines. But throw 1 or 2 in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna hurt nobody.
Right. No, I know. So okay. So going back to the first match, right? It's tribal combat.
Sorry, yeah, that was hard.
I know. We gotta go back to the like why we watched in the first place. Okay, Roman and Solo, tribal combat.
Right.
So that was literally the first hour of Raw. Like by the time that match was over, it was already 9:00, and we're like, wait, what? But
well, I mean, the Rock, everything up until the match was like 30 minutes. Like that match didn't start till like 30 minutes in.
Yeah. So looking at the match as a whole, what did you think? How did you feel about it? What about all these interferences? Like, what did you think?
I love this match. I love.
Do you really?
I was good, man. I was good because they suckered me in, man. They had the interference. They had this. They had that. I was like, all right, cool. Like the match was good. It's good to see Reigns back and being great. I think you knew once they said we'll leave the Bloodlines at home. Once they say we'll leave the Bloodlines home, the one thing you can guarantee is the Bloodline will never be left at home. Like that's just not going to happen.
Right.
I think a couple times they made Reigns look like Superman. Like, to his credit, like because when KO came out and stunned him, I was like, all right, now this because the Tamatanga came out and then Jacob Fatu came out and they worked him over and then this fool hit him with the spike and then he gets stunned and I'm like, okay, man, like, I get it. You have to drag stuff. But no, he popped out. Then out comes Cody. I love the run-ins. I love interference. I love stuff like that. So for me, because I'll take a gimmick when I can get one every now and then. I have to be in the mood.
So you're a sucker for that then.
They got me. I was like, you know what? Cool, man. Like I'm good. Like the match itself was good. The match itself, they put on a solid match. But I was cool with all the interference and everything like that because you got to set up a little bit of the Cody KO thing. You have to get a little bit of that there without taking up a lot of air time because you didn't have a lot to spare. We said this was a packed 3 hours. Well, you did have time to spare. Something I want to get to. We'll talk about it later. But I think you were able to get that story in. You were able to, bring out Zayn and Jimmy and stuff. So I liked it personally. I thought I had fun with it. I was like, great. Good way to open, especially considering the last 30 minutes I've just been listening to The Rock and watching and listening to Hunter and stuff like that. So let's get some situated. And it was kind of like action packed right in the beginning. Bang, bang, bang. I was like, all right, cool. So me personally, but I mean, what about you? How, did you like it or
no? So I liked it. I thought it I agree with you 1,000%. It was a really good match. Both wrestlers did a great job, putting each other over, selling moves and everything. I did genuinely pop for the interferences when I was like, no way, KO. And then I was like, why is he out here? Like, what's his problem? But I mean, everything counts, everything matters, right? So okay, I get it. And then, like you said, his beef with Cody
teamed with him, and that's what started this beef with Cody and KO.
Right. And so now he runs out and interferes, and this whole thing happens. I at the moment I genuinely popped. after like 5 or 10 minutes of letting it settle, I was like, man, they basically just did what they did at WrestleMania. Like it was just like a start of a match,
Yeah.
hardcore all around, and
Yeah.
then boom to end it in like the last 5 minutes, interference, bah, 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 boom, right. And I was like, okay, so they just like miniaturized that that format from WrestleMania to
Right.
make it fit in Raw. So I felt
Right.
like, haha, WWE, you're not gonna pull a fast one on me. This looks familiar, kind of thing. But I still
Right.
appreciate it from like a fan standpoint. It was good.
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
enjoyed it.
yeah, I knew exactly what they were doing, and I was like, "No, I'm good with it. I'm perfectly fine." Because that
Right, right,
WrestleMania match was, I mean, that WrestleMania match was amazing. It was
right, right.
fantastic. So I'm like, "This is cool." And you're giving it to me at the beginning of the pay-per-view, and I gotta wait. I don't gotta wait. Good.
PLE.
This is
Actually,
great.
speaking of PLE, it's a Monday
PLE,
Night Raw.
PLE, sorry.
Not
That's
even. It's
right.
just a
That's right. Well,
regular
I'm
episode.
saying I was referring to WrestleMania being
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
PLE
yeah, yeah.
there.
But
So
okay, cool. One funny call out though. I don't know if you picked this up in the Roman solo match, but like for some reason you could hear them very clearly when they're talking to each other. And I wrote down,
I loved
uh,
you. I love you. Didn't love me.
he goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. He goes, funny moment. He goes, when Solo tells Roman he loves him, and then he goes, yeah. Like, I don't know why he did that. Like, if you go back and rewatch it, I think he meant to like sound tough, like, yeah, I love you. And then it came out like a
The
yelp,
voice just cracked. What
and
happened?
it
He's just
cracked,
cracking
and I
that
was
moment in
like,
time.
oh, okay, Solo, that was weird, but okay.
Okay. Ooh. Hey, man. Yeah. No, I did
uh,
not catch that. Because I heard it, but I heard it, you didn't love me. I was like, oh no, hey,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
All
Well, you get a
right.
chance to go
Explain
back and
to
you'll hear the yelp when you look for it. It's there.
him.
And then okay, and then obviously I was happy with the ending of the match. I'm glad Roman won. But then again, going back to The Rock coming out, like first of all, he walks out without any music. I felt like that set up like, okay, something's gonna happen kind of situation.
Right.
And then also, I don't know if you noticed this too. Maybe Heyman didn't mean to do this, but when the match was over and he was going in with the what's it called? What's the thing called?
Will follow?
The Ulafala, right? He was looking at Solo for like a hot minute, and it made me think, wait a minute, is Heyman gonna turn? So, like, if you rewatch that, you go back and be like, what's happening here? But obviously, we saw nothing happen, and then The Rock comes out with no music, and then he's like, "May I have the honors?" And I'm like thinking, "Oh man, the honors of what? Like stab your cousin in the back?" Like I was really waiting for it, man. I was waiting for it. And if I was a betting man, I would have bet that he was going to turn on him. And it was like a cold finish. It was like, here you go, congratulations, I love you, man, I love you too. Cutscene, and I was like,
Yeah,
what?
vignette or commercial or whatever was coming
Right.
next. Like,
So I was like, okay. So based on that ending, if I had to rate the whole match from start to finish, with that being the finish, from 1 to 10 being the best, I would maybe give it a 7.5 or 8, just because of the ending. The match itself was good. It was just,
right.
had he turned, it would have been a 10 for me. I was like,
Absolutely.
yes.
Well, yeah, because that moment changes everything. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go like 8. I like the match. I mean, I was a fan.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't a
okay.
big fan. I'm not a big fan of Solo, and I've never been the hugest Roman Reigns guy. But I'm gonna go 8, like, because it was a very, very good match, like you said. But I think 8, maybe 8.5, if if we're on a scale of 1 to 10. But I know it was a great match, and like I said, sucker for everything he did. Appreciate all the spots, and
Yeah,
I'll take it. Now, like I said, great way to open for me.
yeah.
Like, let's
All
do
right.
it. Sign me up.
So, okay. So then the next segment is Cena, right? I genuinely popped for Cena. I was like, yes, let's go. Like, and it's almost like, I don't know if you get this feeling, but every time he shows that last time towel, I just get sadder and sadder, because it's like a countdown to the true last time he'll do that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It does take a look. Like, listen, I've never been the biggest Cena guy. I thought he was.
me neither.
funny when he was the doctor of thugonomics. I was like, this guy's ridiculous. Like, I can't even. And now I have the doctor of thugonomics Funko Pop in my collection.
Mhm.
Like, but he's always been the guy. He shows up, he works, he wrestles, he does everything. So respect being respect. Yeah, I'm like, all right, seen him. But I mean, to look back at, like, I have I was going back on something and I saw a clip of an old WrestleMania of him and like Big Show, and just how huge he was when he was, doing the Attitude Adjustment to Big Show
for the
and
US
now he
belt, right?
takes his shirt off, and I'm like, ooh, my man, hey, little more slender than previous. Which who am I to tell anyone about their body? But like,
well, that's
oh,
time.
but no, but I
and that's also
I did,
lack
no,
of
I
protein.
did, I do feel a little bummed. I do feel a little bummed when I see the towel. I'm like, last time, right? But I saw it, and I was like, I wonder what color it's gonna be. I had the song, I was like, with the royal blue. I'm like, all right, let's.
Well, it's LA, right?
Good.
I mean, he did a Dodgers thing. If you didn't pick up on that, like the shirt.
Yeah, I mean, see, I was saying more of a Mets, Knicks, Giants thing because I'm in New York, so that's
right. Well, yeah, because I was gonna say, I think what he's doing is like, and this is like marketing genius. Like every city that he goes, it's probably gonna be that same shirt style, but like with the font and the colors of like their notable sports team, right? So Dodgers because they won this year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so Dodgers because they won the World Series this year, or last year, right? But that's why it was like Dodgers themed, right? So I'm sure when he goes to the Garden, it'll be Knicks colors or Yankee colors or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, let's see where it is next week, where Raw is, and what he comes out wearing.
Yeah, that's true. So so for me, I was excited to see him. Genuine pop. I do feel like his speech did run a little too long to say, basically to sum it up as like, you know what? I'm not going to disqualify myself. I am going to go to the Rumble. I will go to the Rumble. And I was just like, all right, bro, you could have like made this 20-minute speech.
Long time to get there.
I was like, we get it.
Because I think he spent a good amount of the first few minutes also talking about the Netflix deal.
The Netflix deal and thanking the people. At this
point, we understand that everything that it's on Netflix now. Good. I got it. I'm cramming it down my throat. Appreciate it. Let's go. Like you be in the Rumble? Great. Let's go. And I'm sorry, but I agree. I think it just ran even just maybe a moment or two too long. But once again, I think a lot of it had to do. I think once you're going to see a much different show in even next week to the week following of first of all not having every celebrity given camera time and active superstars. That's the thing. Listen, you want to show me Vanessa Hudgens. You want to show me Travis Scott. You want to show me a returning Logan Paul who's taking out on the roster, so he's sitting outside. Fine. I don't need to see Braun Breaker.
Or
don't
Rey
need
Mysterio.
To see Dakota Kai. I don't need to see Rey Mysterio. I don't need the Io Sky, like LA Knight. That's no thank you. It's like that's something that kind of got me. I was like, a lot of celebrating of everyone, like it's the WWE itself. And I'm like, okay, listen, I get it, big thing, but I felt like that was a lot of time. Also, I don't want to say wasted. Mm-hmm. Time used that could have been giving elsewhere, that you could have got another match in, you could have got some more interviews, or maybe built into the storyline, something, because there was a lot of time I feel divulged to spots for A, celebrities, and B, current superstars who I'll see when I turn on SmackDown or NXT.
Exactly. Actually, shout out to Topanga. All right, I know you saw her, right?
Hey man, you know what? But the brother didn't get no love.
I know. That was Corey's brother.
Corey's brother. Like, yo, man,
Will Friedle.
That dude, like, Will Friedle. I think he was like, hey man. I was sitting there, and he was like looking at it. He was like, he started pointing at her. Oh, but he's like, yeah. She's the hot one. So looking at her, like,
yeah. Well, he's it's funny because they have a podcast called Pod Meets World, and they basically rewatch all the episodes, but from their point of view at this age now. So because they're like in their 40s now, I think. And they rewatch it and they're like, oh man, like that was kind of creepy as a kid, or I never saw it that way, that kind of thing. And
there's a bunch of different stuff now.
yeah, and Will, um, he he's kind of like more humble now. He's like he doesn't want to be in the camera because he does a lot of voice over like work. You know what I mean? Like he was the voice of
Right.
Batman Beyond, right? Like that cartoon and a bunch of other cartoons. And
Nice.
he was just like, yeah, no, like I don't want to be in the camera anymore. So, most likely that reaction was like natural for him. He was like, yeah, no, like I'm here, but look at Topanga. Don't
Yeah,
don't worry
look,
about me,
yeah,
So,
focus on her. Focus on her. Just like everybody
but
did when they was watching the show anyway.
so good and bad thing was with the celebrity plug-in and all that stuff, and because of the Netflix deal, I liked the Gabriel Iglesias and New Day segment. I didn't like that they crammed the special down our throat, but I like how they recovered at the end with like, oh, by the way, before I go, New Day sucks, and then Otis and all of them start jumping in. So it was good. But to your point, I was like, oh man, another Netflix reminder. Like we get it, dude. The guy's wearing a WWE Netflix tailored shirt.
Like, come on. I saw that and I was like, dude, like, and listen, I've seen a couple of Fluffy specials. I laugh. I want to like as a Hispanic comedian and everything. So I want to I want to props to him and love to him. And I'm like, my man, that shirt is not what we're talking
Not
about
it.
right now. Like that was. I was like, dude, what is happening here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but no, the segment with New Day. I mean, but as you know, I love New Day. Like I love New Day, and I love this heel turn, and I love this heat. Like I love the fact that Xavier Woods is like, we've been trying to talk about what we did to E, but we can't get a word out. It's been weeks of them trying to explain it. They can't get a word out. I'm like, yes, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the New Day sucks. The New Day sucks. Yeah, of course, because they're getting back to that. And I was like, I remember that was the thing. Like, and then Fluffy had he had a funny one liner to me, and he's like, man, I liked you guys when you were selling cereal.
Yeah, no, that was good. And then when Fluffy starts the New Day sucks chant, I don't know if you picked up, Xavier Woods is like, that's why nobody's gonna watch your special, right? Because so that was pretty good. I enjoyed the segment.
Actually, I think that was Kofi. Actually, I think that was Kofi.
Oh, it was Kofi. My bad. And okay, cool. So then after Cena and the declaration for the Rumble and the New Day bit, then we get an overwhelming shots of the drones, both outside and inside the arena, right? You saw the one that went through the door, up the escalator, into the actually that was during Jay's entrance, right? For the Jay and Drew McIntyre match. Right. McIntyre. But before we got there, I don't know if this was before or after, but did you see the segment about Chad Gable saying, "Oh, I want to fight a luchador"? So is that setting up for?
Because we didn't talk about it because right after, I believe it was The Rock, and they were coming back to get into, I think it was maybe Tribal Combat. They had the vignette, and this time it actually spelled Penta. On the mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I was like, okay, so I was like, all right, Penta. And then all of a sudden, this fool comes out with, this is one of those things like, I don't know if you remember when Taz came over from ECW. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was at the live event. I was at the live event.
At the number 13.
And yeah. And Kurt Angle comes out and he's like, I've beaten everyone you put in front of me. Bring me whatever, and everyone knew Taz was making his debut. So everyone knew it. So they said, give me anyone. And it was the opening of what was back then the pay-per-view. And Taz came out. So I felt like this is literally just replaying it, especially because he said, give me any luchador.
Like what?
Come on, man. Like 27 minutes ago, we just saw the promo for Penta. like 27 minutes ago, guys. Like, I understand what we're trying to do here, but you didn't have to say, give me any luchador. Give me anybody. Something like that. Because at least then you're leaving, But yeah, I the Gable thing, American Made looks cool. Like
for sure, for sure.
But I saw that and I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, it's
yeah.
I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless they're gonna hit me with the hard swerve and it's not Penta, in which case, hey man,
good job. Yeah, for sure.
Pull right over here.
No, but you're right though, because even Adam Pearce, like who's usually good at selling, didn't really sell that one good either. He goes, "Oh yeah, I got the right guy,"
Right.
and I was just like, "Really, bro?" Like you said, we just saw the ad like 27 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. Like, what happened to not treating us like we're fools? What happened to that?
Poor
Okay,
man.
we're gonna sprinkle it in. We just won't be like really jerks about it though. But okay, and then so the next match. So what was it? Was it Rhea Liv and then Jay and
Right,
Drew?
right. Well, I mean, well, you have to sprinkle it in now because you're probably getting some new eyes with Netflix. So you have to
Mm.
sprinkle a little of the
The women's division.
real live, real live,
Yeah, yeah.
real live.
So I wasn't really
Which
a big
once
fan of the
again,
match.
WrestleMania quality match,
You
caliber
really
match.
you liked it?
Absolutely. I
Really?
mean, listen, it's 2 years in the 2 years we've been dealing with this storyline.
Yeah.
The match itself was the match itself. I was not- I like the storyline. I like where we're going with the storyline, because this is the things that have to start happening. Because at some point, Liv has to lose that belt.
Right.
The match itself, I'm not going to say was a great match per se,
Right.
but I appreciate where they were going storyline wise. We had to get there. I think you could have probably done something maybe with maybe a play of interference, maybe a whatever. But I appreciate the kick in the crotch to Dom at the end, because I mean, it's Dom and everyone loves to hate on him.
Yeah.
But match, it's not whatever. But I think I like the arc of the story and having to go there and finish that up,
Yeah.
because I think it's time we can start.
I wasn't crazy
Now you set up for something at maybe Elimination Chamber, and then where maybe Liv wins via disqualification or something, and then you get the rubber match at Mania.
Okay,
This is
well,
my thought process, but
maybe. I mean, to be honest with you,
I'm here behind the mic. No one pays me to write.
but my thing is this, right? Like I like the idea of it, right? And big deal, WrestleMania level match for the Netflix, but I don't know. I didn't like the quality of the match itself. And knowing Triple H, I was like, well, this is a new show. This is anytime they do a new thing, like whether it's like Saturday night's main event or like a new pay-per-view somewhere or like a outside of the country kind of situation, it's like a title change usually has to happen. And that was really the only title match of that night, for a premiere. So I was like, oh, so they're just going to let Rhea win. You know what I mean? So I guess in my head, I already knew she was going to win. And then on top of that, the match itself wasn't their best. So I was like,
no, that definitely was not.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I mean, this almost felt like just a quick thing because it's Netflix and they want to make a big deal of like a changing of the hands. But like you said, maybe I'm hoping that you're right in the sense that it goes to Mania and then we get like a real match, like a real like hard hitting like women's main event level. But I feel like I feel like that's what we wanted, and I didn't get that. If from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 5. I wasn't crazy about it.
I agree with you that it felt like they rushed this, and as a result, you did not get the match that you wanted from either superstar or both of them combined. I agree with you. Well, once again, just a fan looking in, but definitely not their best match together. But like I said, I think it's not going to end here. So you have to build to a storyline. You have to build to something where, and where I believe it culminates at Mania, which I'm thinking might have been the reason that this is not a Mania match and the reason that Punk and Rollins might not be, because once again, you can do something there where best of 3, kind of what Punk did with McIntyre and things like that. So yeah, as a match, I agree with you. Not their best by any stretch. But I understand the storyline, which had to do, and once again, with new eyes going on here, the title change makes sense.
Yeah. I think the best part of the match was Dom at the end. That
Yeah,
really was the thing that kind of saved it for me
yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
just like, oh man, he's really gonna drop Liv like that, and
Like,
is
is
Rhea
Phil gonna
gonna
find
like,
out?
and then I was like, is really Rhea gonna really like fall for it? Because that might have would have saved it even more, like for me, right? Like from a fan perspective, like had Rhea accepted Dom for like a different purpose, like making us think, oh man, is she really silly enough to like go back to him after what he did?
Right, right.
But in
Because
reality, is
everything
like
he
she's
did
really
is
gonna
true.
play him for a later move. That I would have been like, oh yes, excellent writing. But I mean, but we got the cheap pop. It was like, oh no,
Yeah,
like boom, hit to the crotch and bang. Oh, Rio walks out. And then,
done.
okay, let's talk about the other thing there at the end of that match. Taker? Like, why did Undertaker come out of that match? Like, that didn't make sense to me. Out of all places to place the Undertaker, like, why?
Completely, completely unnecessary. If you were looking for the cheap pop, you could have gotten it anywhere else. You would have gotten more of a pop probably if they just showed a picture of him sitting next to his wife when they introduced her in one of these
Yeah,
damn celebrity shots. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, and then like I get okay, don't whatever. Then he comes out with the American Badass, like he's riding the bike.
I
He's
was like,
got
what purpose? What purpose? What
the
is he gonna
bandana
challenge for the
on.
belt?
Like, oh, we're doing Attitude Era, Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, Undertaker here. Like,
Yeah, no, I was just like, just so he could drive past her, right? Like he just rides right by her, goes around the ring, and he's like, "Hey, when I put my arm up, you put your arm up," and then boom, and then that's
yeah,
it.
you
He
do
just
it.
dips. He doesn't even take her on the motorcycle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I was just like, wow. Talk about and mind you, everything I've ever heard about Taker is like he don't do anything less for 25,000. So that 5 minute segment, he made $25,000 just to
That's
ride around
crazy.
in a motorcycle. So good for
That's
him, right?
that's crazy. That's
But
crazy.
yeah, no,
That's
I felt
just
like
to
that was
do a lap, and we didn't talk about it before that the entrance ramp to the ring was not very long.
no,
So my
no, no,
man
no, it
only had to
wasn't.
drive like 12 feet, loop around the ring, and then come right back 12 feet and be
And,
done.
and I didn't even notice the ramp was small with Taker. I noticed it when Cena ran. He's like, all right, let's get to work last time. And then he runs, and then like a second later, he's in the ring. I'm
Because he
like,
wasn't out of breath.
so I was like, wait a
Damn,
minute.
Cena's fast.
He's like, man, that boy could run. Like I was just like, yo, okay. So
That boy
I
fast.
literally in my notes, that's like number 24. I wrote Taker question mark. Like it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely an interesting spot. An interesting spot.
so now what's it called? We get to I believe Hogan, right? Hogan comes out to promote his beer, right?
Oh, the
That was
Hogan
so
booing.
rough. So
The boo
so
session. The
so
boo
the
session.
I automatically assumed that because he's an open Trump supporter and he was in California, which is like pro Democrat,
Oh,
I
this was
thought
this was this was political, I believed as well. The minute they started booing him,
I
I'm
was
like,
like,
dude. I was like, wait, where are
get
they?
out of here.
California. And he said that, and
Yeah.
he was talking smack on Kamala during the day. I was like, yeah, no, man, don't
Mhm.
know when there's gonna be
What you gonna do,
like,
brother? With
yeah, I was like,
Trumpomania
it's like,
and
whoa, my man,
Hulkamania.
whoa, you gotta calm. I was like, I was sitting, I was like, read the room, fellas. Like, really, you gonna
Yeah.
bring Hogan out? Like, read, like, at least Taker didn't say nothing. Like, you could
Mhm.
have maybe had like a Hogan do a lap or show him in the back or something like that. But you brought this fool
Yeah.
out thinking it was a good idea, like, ooh. But I'll tell you what, they're probably gonna sell some of that beer now because anyone who went and
Yeah.
voted for Trump will be like, you know what? Support Hogan's beer, the greatest beer.
No, but you know what? The other thing too was in listening to that promo, you could tell that, all right, Hogan, I think it's time. I think it's time to just hang out in Clearwater, hang out at the beach, hang out at your bar. Like, that's it, dude. Enjoy
Just
time
let it
with
go,
your wife,
man.
and that's it,
Let it
dude.
go.
Because
You can collect
that
money. You can
promo was
collect
like,
money.
yeah, bro. I just it wasn't a good, it wasn't a well-placed promo whatsoever. I mean, the greatest tag team since me and Andre is, Real American Beer and WWE and Netflix. And I'm just like, okay. Like,
Netflix is the
not
greatest
only
tag partner ever.
yeah, I was like, all right, dude, get out of here.
Come on, man.
Like,
Come on,
please
man.
save your legacy and just get out of there. But a lot of people were upset that like people booed him. But I was like, I agree. I don't think it was
I,
well placed at all.
I mean, listen. It's part of what you're choosing to do as a celebrity, and when you go out there and do stuff politically and charge stuff like that, like you have to be
Yeah.
able to understand that this is going to cross over. You may not want it to, and it may not be right, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm not mad at anybody because they paid their money to go cheer and boo whoever they want and whoever
Yeah.
they deem fit because they have that right. They paid their money. I think once again, just ill placed time to bring him out and have him do something like that, especially in California. You want to do that with him in Texas?
Oof.
Bro, sure, you'll
Yeah.
be fine. No
Yeah.
problem.
For real.
Just not the right place. There was
Not the
something
right
else. I
crowd.
forget what it was. Something else happened, and I was like, "Ooh, you to do this right now?" And I kind of felt a little uncomfortable about something. I'm forgetting it. I hope I'll remember it, and I'll go back and watch it and let you know. But there was something else because I was Hogan. I was like, "Ooh, this is not good timing." And then something else happened. I think it was a shot of something, and I was like, "Ooh, not good timing either." But
I'm
yeah,
trying to
but
think.
I forgot. I forgot. But I'm filled dead air with that.
Was it when they were showing the celebrities? Because there was a mistake there. When they were doing the celebrity
Ah,
shots, they like forgot someone and then they went back
then
and
they
then
went
oh, it
back.
was
Yeah.
Nakamura, right? It was like here, here's Bianca and this. And then they go to the guy on the left, and then like they go all the way back to the right to Nakamura, and then they go away all the way back to the left. And I was like,
They go back to the
yo,
guy on the
what are they
left. You're like,
doing?
poor guy on the left. Poor guy on the left, whoever that was.
Oh man. All right. So we got two more matches, right? We got Drew and Jay, right? Or did we go over
Okay.
that? No, we didn't go over that one, right?
No, we didn't go for Georgia.
Okay.
Did not go for Georgia. I like both these guys. I thought it was a
Yeah, yeah,
solid match. I like the outcome. Big fan
yeah.
of Jey Uso getting the win there.
I was happy with it. I was
Good
happy
match,
with
and I
it.
thought McIntyre, yeah, McIntyre's been doing one hell of a job lately in this run. It's been fantastic. Jay is showing why he can perform and be main event Jey Uso. I think this was a
Mhm.
very solid match. Good story told. The right winner came out because you can't keep trying to push Jay and then bury him. And it's time
Right,
for
right.
McIntyre to take an L somewhere, but it can't be
Mhm.
anything too important or anything like that. So I
Right.
think it was a very solid match.
Yeah,
Take it.
yeah. No, I liked it. I like that he's the bloodline hunter, and he's going after each one of these guys. And you're right. It's like you're gonna win some and lose some, but the mission continues. And I thought it was a great match. They both put on a good show. They both sold really well, and yeah. I think the only downside for me is like, and obviously I get it because it's like it's Jay and they have to do it, and then Travis was also part of it, Travis Scott, and the I could
Oh
have
yeah,
lived without the
forgot
long
about that
intro.
whole thing.
Yeah, but other than that, from 1 to 10, 7.5, 8, maybe 8.
Yeah, I was
Just
gonna say I'd say probably like a 7.
yeah,
Like a 7.
7.5,
I'm going
7. Yeah,
7.
that's good. And then the last match, right? It
Yeah, I
was
was I was still shocked at the Travis Scott just openly smoking in the stadium, like just
yeah,
like,
but it's
hey,
it's it's
there's kids around
California.
here.
It's
You know what
legal
I'm gonna
there though.
do?
Yeah, you know
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
put you in the
doing?
stadium, man. Come on, man. Listen. Far be it from me to tell anyone when to, and but I'm just like, come on, man. There's the kids in there, man. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Oh man, perspectives change, huh? When you're a father, you're like, oh
But there
man.
was a thing like Triple H. Well, there was a thing that like Triple H came out and he was like, "Well, I'm glad that Jey Uso said no."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't know, man. I the last match, Punk Rollins, I thought that was really good. Like it would
Mhm.
I guess the best way that I could explain it as far as like why I enjoyed the match is like it was it was a classic match, meaning like they both sold so well. They were going back and forth, and it was such a good match in my eyes that um I like the fact that I had no idea who was going to win by the end of that match. because the way that they were doing
Yeah.
finishers and each other's finishers and just going like it could have gone either way, and I would have been happy either way. And I think that's what made
Right.
it such a good match. It was like back and forth, nonstop, slow when it needed to get slow, pick up when it needed to pick up. And these are two professionals that, claim to hate each other, but they work really well together, man. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's
Yeah.
just the recipe for any, you know, um, you know, top superstar, right? I feel like, at one point The Rock and Stone Cold really didn't like each other, or, whoever, right? I feel like as long as that bit of realism is there, whether it's competition or genuine dislike from opinions or thoughts or whatever,
Just for
it
a
adds
different
fuels.
person. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love it. I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah.
That I give like a 8.5, a 9, because I enjoyed it
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Mhm.
was probably the best match of the night, but I'm still gonna stick with the tribal combat as my favorite.
Yeah,
'Cause
that if
like I
anything
said,
that
they suckered me. They suckered me in. They suckered me in. But not to take away, this was an absolutely fantastic match. This was like I
yeah,
agree with you 100%. Very well done. As I said, probably the best match of the night. But hands down. Like
yeah.
great storytelling. Like you said, these guys play well, love each other, they work well together. Um, a lot of funny like when he hit him with the GTS and they started singing, and he's like, I hit your finisher, and they're singing my
Mhm,
song, da,
mhm.
da, 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 like yeah, stuff like that. I think it all worked. I think it was really, really well done, and that's why I'm saying I believe um in what I said before with the real live thing that you're setting up now because
Yeah.
um I'm assuming that they probably won't fight each other at the Rumble,
Mhm.
um, just because they both want to be in the Rumble. I would imagine, unless they do that there, but then you still have the Elimination Chamber. So I'm trying to figure out where the second spot would be after their match, and then you go to Mania, and that's when
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah.
But
I
great
I
match, absolutely
I I
fantastic.
I personally feel like because this one had to be this premiere of Raw on Netflix had to be so big, um, they had to do like blockbuster things, but at the same time, I feel like now I don't know where we head to WrestleMania at this point. Like I have no idea who could possibly win the Rumble. I don't know. I mean, because I know Cena. History shows us that when somebody proclaims that they're going to do it, they usually end up being the one to do it. But I would
Right.
really prefer Cena fail and say, "Yeah, I'm going to win the Rumble," and he doesn't win the Rumble, but he wins it elsewhere. Like I'd rather him win the Money in the Bank.
What do you think?
You know what I
He
mean?
was the Chamber.
No, not even the chamber because he's won it in the chamber before too, right? I feel like if he wins it in a different
Worship
way,
of my
it'd be
right.
good, right? You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
if he won it in Money in the
has he had
Bank,
money?
wouldn't that be a little bit
Has he
more
had Money in the Bank?
special? I don't think so.
Well, I think the key for him is if you're going to put the belt on him, if you're going to do it, is to do it by SummerSlam, so that you can
Mm,
give him a run of a good 3 months. Because SummerSlam is what August. You
yeah.
give him a run till October, because he's going to be around for a year. So when is Money in the Bank? Like June,
Mm,
I want to say,
j-
somewhere
yeah,
around there.
no. Yeah. I don't know, man. And then where does
Yeah.
the bloodline storyline go at this point now that Solo lost? You know what I mean? I don't know what directions we're going to be going in a
Well,
lot of things now.
well, I mean, that's why you have just so much room to open up, and now what you have to do is you have to definitively give us the rosters,
Mm,
who's where, who's who, what's what, and then we can start building. But if you're leaving the rosters as currently constituted, um, you where's Punk? Punk is Raw, so Punk is
mhm.
not going to be cashing in his favor from Paul Heyman just yet.
Right.
So I think with Raw, it's Rollins and Punk. Yeah, I don't know where you go with the bloodline. That's a good call. I truly don't know unless they continue to try and do so. I have no idea.
Right.
We'll see what happens on Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's where I'm at as a fan. It's like the show was enjoyable overall. It was good. I was, hyped for it and everything, and had my opinions about each individual match. But overall, my question is like, if this event constitute the real start of the new era, the Netflix era, the road to WrestleMania. Okay, so what
Right.
now? I think that's where I'm
Right.
at. But
Right.
I mean, I guess we have to watch and see, right?
Well,
At
because
this point.
it seems like a lot of these things kind of just with the four matches that were presented. Let's remember we were only given four matches, so let's remember that we were given a 3-hour show with four matches. So there's not a lot of takeaway that can really be done considering the finality of the tribal combat is they've been doing this for a while now. They have to, whatever. You put the belt on Rhea, so they didn't really leave a lot of stuff open to be like, okay, what happens next? Like they closed a couple things and kind of left some breadcrumbs here and there. But with only four matches, I don't think we're expected to be walking out of here like, hey, all right, we're going to look forward to this. Like, nah, because like you said, nothing is been determined or shown like, all right, this is a build or start to something, with the
Yeah.
exception of maybe those two matches in Rhea and Liv and Punk and Rollins.
Yeah. Well, man, I mean that's it for my notes. Is there anything else you picked up on that I'm missing?
Nah, man, I no, because I the no no man, it was because I watched it and I was just so suckered in by it and just like taken aback and like just smiling goofily watching the TV. So no, it was good. I think we covered damn near everything. I mean, look, we took a 3-hour show and chatted about an hour for it.
Yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
mean, that's
Which the whole 3-hour show could have been an hour, I think, right? No, just me being a
I
hater.
mean, they could have whittled that down to a 2-hour event with only being that once again there was only four matches.
Yeah,
Like
I
you could have whittled that
I hope that with this flexibility with Netflix, that I hope every episode is not 3 hours. I hope, sometimes it's 2.5, sometimes it's two. You know what I mean? Like I hope that they're able
down. I mean,
to have that level of
I would
flexibility that,
imagine
yeah.
they probably can, but I mean, I would imagine that in terms of the fans. Like you don't want to gyp the fans. You don't want someone to pay a price, get a 3-hour show, and then someone pays roughly the same, and they get a 2-hour show. You know what I'm saying? So, but
that's
I
fair.
think what I'm hoping for is that we just don't get all these celebrity things and like that is cuts here. Because I mean, realistically, that was a good like 15, 20 minutes in time that was devoted to celebrity row, and stuff like that. Like we got it popular. We're all watching. Like, let's get some more story, and especially for the first one in the new era. Like you could have definitely done a few more stories, which is kind of my only thing is a few drawbacks to the Raw. Is it seemed like there was a lot of celebration of itself in Netflix, just by once again the superstars, and everyone just kept chatting up Netflix. Oh, this is another executive, and and that they didn't really set too much up for us to look forward to. I guess would probably be the other one. Which I mean, until you brought up, I was just kind of like, whatever. But you're right. There's not a lot of something to look forward to, but there is because they've been doing great. So and next week, I guess. Well, the one they did build is Gable and Luchador to be named later.
Luchador, let's go. All right, man. Well, I think we pretty much wrapped up on the premiere of Raw. Overall, as a show, before we log off, what do you give this episode from 1 to 10 as a whole?
Right, 1 to 10 as a whole. God,
dun, dun, dun.
I'm gonna go 7.5.
Yeah, I agree with that.
7.5, 7.5. Maybe push it to an 8, maybe, but 7.5. Because once again, the just a few drawbacks that were just kind of glaring.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think as we go, these things won't happen or nearly as often. But yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay.
So
yeah,
solid episode. I agree. 4 good stories told, stuff like that. So
yeah, no, I have nothing to disagree with that. I think 7.5 is fair. I think it's perfect. I think with all the good and all the bad that happened. Not that anything bad happened, but I'm talking about like overwhelming factors and little nitpicking things here. Yeah, I think 7.5 is a solid grade for the premiere of Raw on Netflix. Now, I hope going forward these shows will obviously get better, and I'm sure they will, because Triple H really does a great job. The whole team does a really good job, and for to get everybody to watch, even people that weren't fans. I got messages, and we're talking to people that aren't fans, and they were watching. So that's
Right.
something to be said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Try and get fresh eyes, try and lock people in, of course. That's the whole point of like you said before, trying to not pull the wool over our eyes or make us feel foolish. Sometimes they have to, because they got to bring other people in. So, yeah. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Solid episode. Looking forward to the next one, and, can't wait to break it down.
Yeah, brother. All right. Well, wraps up this episode. All right, Eddie, sign us off. Go ahead. Try something new.
Try something new.
Yeah, try something new.
Try something new. Well,
yeah, put you on the spot.
We'll see you when we see you guys. Have a good one.
There you go. We'll see you when we see you. Peace out.